A very good morning. Welcome to this edition of News for the Hearing Impaired. I'm Rukma and with me is Sonu. Let's begin with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he is thinking of giving up his social media accounts. Posting across different social media platforms, PM announces this Sunday, thinking of giving up my social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Two new positive cases of COVID-19 reported in India, one in New Delhi and second in Telangana. One Italian tourist also suspected to be infected in Jaipur. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says government is fully prepared to meet any eventuality. COVID-19 claims 4 more lives in the United States, taking the death toll in the country to 6 as novel coronavirus spreads fast outside China as global death toll goes past 3,000. World Health Organization says situation can be contained with the right measures. Hanging of 4 death row convicts in Nirbhaya case deferred again by trial court pending disposal of mercy petition of convict Pawan Kumar Gupta. Mercy petition filed after Supreme Court rejects curative petition filed by Pawan. Second leg of budget session of Parliament begins. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day after several adjournments due to opposition's ruckus over Delhi violence. Lok Sabha also witnesses several adjournments. In our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that he is thinking of giving up his social media accounts. In a tweet, he said, "This Sunday, thinking of giving up my social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. We'll keep you all posted." PM Modi, who is known for reaching out to the masses through social media, is the most followed Indian on Twitter, with his follower count at 53.3 million mark on the micro-blogging site. PM Modi also one of the most followed world leaders on Twitter, with only the 2 US presidents, Donald Trump and his predecessor Barack Obama, ahead of him. Prime Minister Modi is only the 3rd world leader to have crossed the 50 million followers mark on Twitter after Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Within minutes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's tweet saying that he is thinking of giving up his social media accounts, scores of netizens urged him not to quit the various social media platforms as "No Sir" trended on Twitter. 2 new positive cases of novel coronavirus COVID-19 have been reported in the country. One positive case has been detected in New Delhi and the other has been detected in Telangana. The person from Delhi has a travel history from Italy. The other one from Telangana has a travel history with Dubai. Further details of their travel are being ascertained. Both the patients are stable and are being closely monitored. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has advised people to avoid travel to countries like Iran, Japan, South Korea and Singapore. While speaking to media persons in New Delhi on Monday, Dr. Harshvardhan also advised people not to create panic and report any recent relatable symptoms like fever, sore throat or respiratory problems at the nearest designated medical facility. He informed that passengers coming from all such countries where corona cases have been reported are thoroughly screened at 21 airports, 12 seaports and 65 minor ports. In Rajasthan, an Italian tourist with symptoms of coronavirus has been admitted to the isolation ward of SMS Hospital in Jaipur. He was admitted to the hospital after a report from the local lab said that he could be positive for coronavirus. This was the second report. The first report had been negative. The suspected patient was part of a group of 20 tourists who landed in Jaipur on February 29th. The other 19 tourists have left for Agra and efforts are being made to contact them for screening. The Italian embassy has been informed. Aviation regulator DGCA said on Monday that all passengers coming from Italy and Iran would undergo thermal screening for novel coronavirus. Passengers from 10 countries, China, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Singapore, Nepal, Indonesia, Vietnam and Malaysia, are already being screened at Indian airports. The DGCA said in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in India, it has been decided to expand the universal screening of all passengers arriving on flights from Italy and Iran. And COVID-19 has claimed 4 more lives in the United States, taking the death toll in the country to 6. In Seattle, 6 people have died of illness caused by the new coronavirus. Chief Health Officer for Seattle and King County Public Health Agency announced the increase in fatalities from the previous 2 in Washington state. He told a news conference that the county was not recommending school closures or cancellation of any events at this point, but they do expect the increase in cases to continue. The total number of cases in Washington is now at 18. 5 of the deaths were in King County and 1 from Snohomish County, also in the Puget Sound region, just north of Seattle. The number of cases in the U.S. as of March 1st has risen to 91. So far, 10 states, including California and New York, have confirmed or presumed coronavirus cases. The epidemic in South Korea, Italy, Iran and Japan are the World Health Organization's greatest concern. WHO chief has said that in the past 24 hours, there were almost 9 times more coronavirus cases reported outside China than inside, but the disease can be contained with the right measures. Tedros reiterated containment should be the focus of countries, noting that from the 62 nations that have reported the virus presence, 38 have reported 10 cases or less. Tedros also spoke against discrimination fueled by the outbreak. The World Health Organization's African director has said that the continent's capacity to deal with the coronavirus outbreak was improving, as the first cases were confirmed in Africa. Health experts are concerned about an outbreak in a region where health systems are already overburdened with cases of malaria, measles, Ebola and other infectious diseases. Senegal confirmed its first coronavirus case, a French national living in the country. Senegal's case is the second in sub-Saharan Africa after an Italian was confirmed to have the virus in Nigeria last week. North African countries Tunisia, Algeria and Egypt have also confirmed cases of the virus. Africa's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it has activated its Emergency Operation Center for a continent where healthcare capacity is limited and early detection is vital. Countries across the continent have introduced screening measures at airports. Kenya, Tanzania and Rwanda have suspended flights to China. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have assured that they stand ready to help member countries address the human and economic challenges of the fast-spreading coronavirus outbreak, including through emergency funding. As of Monday, there have been over 89,000 cases of the virus globally, majority in China. Outside of China, it has spread to 66 countries with more than 8,800 cases and 130 deaths. Globally, the illness has killed over 3,000 people. French health chiefs yesterday announced the number of coronavirus cases in the country had risen to 191 and a third person has died. The dead include an elderly Chinese tourist and a teacher from the Oise region, who both died in Paris, and an 89-year-old woman who tested positive with the virus post-mortem in the Compiègne hospital. Since the first case was reported in France, some 12 patients have fully recovered from the virus. Health chiefs said the country has a very clear goal to prevent the propagation of the virus, but he added that people who do not need to self-isolate should continue life as normal. Public transport will continue to run as normal. Meanwhile, British Airways has announced that some flights between France and the UK would be suspended. In total, the airline said it has cancelled 226 flights between March 16th and 28th to destinations including New York, Italy, France, Austria, Belgium, Germany, Ireland and Switzerland. Back home, a Delhi court on Monday deferred till further order the hanging of the 4 death row convicts in the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case pending disposal of a convict's mercy plea. The execution of their death warrants has now been deferred thrice due to delays in exhausting legal remedies. All the convicts in the case were to be hanged together on Tuesday at 6 a.m. The court passed the order on Pawan's plea, seeking to stay the execution as he has filed a mercy petition before the president on Monday. While it was reserving the order on Pawan's fresh plea to stay the death warrant for Tuesday, that is today, the court rapped the convict's lawyer for acting so late in filing the curative and mercy pleas. Pawan's curative plea was rejected by the Supreme Court earlier on Monday. The trial court had earlier in the day dismissed Pawan's and co-accused Akshay Kumar Singh's application for staying their death warrants. And now news from Parliament. On day one of the second leg of the budget session, opposition created ruckus on the issue of violence in some parts of the national capital in the past few days. Lok Sabha passed obituary reference to sitting member Baidyanath Prasad Mato. As soon as the proceedings resumed in the House, pandemonium began once again. And amid the ruckus, the Lok Sabha Speaker directed discussion be taken up on Vivad Se Vishwas Bill 2020. The ruckus continued and the members of the BJP and Congress nearly came to blows. In the Rajya Sabha, the opposition demanded a probe into the violence in some parts of Delhi. The chairman said the violence is a serious issue. When the situation will become normal in Delhi, the issue will be discussed in the House after discussions with the leader of the House, leader of the opposition and the minister concerned. The Delhi High Court on Monday directed police to file a status report on steps being taken for relief and rehabilitation of people affected by violence in northeast Delhi. The court has directed Delhi police to file a report in compliance with its order of February 26, in which it had issued specific instructions for rehabilitation of the victims. The court fixed April 30th for its next hearing in the case. The Supreme Court is also seized of the matter, having agreed to hear a petition demanding an FIR against leaders who allegedly instigated violence with their alleged hate speeches. A bench headed by Chief Justice of India will hear the petition on March 4th. The petition has been filed by the riot victims. The Supreme Court has declined to refer to a larger 7-judge bench a batch of petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the centre's decision to abrogate provisions of Article 370 on August 5th last year. The Apex Court said there are no reasons to refer a batch of pleas challenging the constitutional validity of the centre's decision to abrogate provisions of Article 370. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by Justice N.V. Ramanna pronounced the order. The Apex Court had on January 23rd reserved the order on the issue of whether the batch of pleas would be referred to a larger 7-judge bench. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Monday asserted that the world is in the midst of real transition and India has stood out as a country willing to do much more. Delivering the inaugural address at the Centre for Policy Research Dialogue 2020, the External Affairs Minister also said that India has a single-minded campaign against terrorism. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar on Monday emphasized upon the need to promote science and innovation among students. Speaking at a program transforming government schools at IIT Delhi, Javadekar said that Making in India initiative is designed to facilitate investment, foster innovation and also to encourage companies to manufacture their products within the country. Union Ministers Dr. Harshvardhan, Smriti Irani and Ashwini Kumar Chaubey on Monday inaugurated a health, wellness and nutrition camp for women at Nirman Bhavan in New Delhi. In her address, Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani said that for the first time under the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, nearly 70 lakh women were provided help for the cure of cervical cancer. Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that the World Health Organization has praised the initiatives and schemes undertaken by the government for the welfare of pregnant women and lactating mothers. AHAR 2020, the International Food and Hospitality Fair, will begin in New Delhi from today. Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will inaugurate the 35th edition of AHAR 2020 at Pragati Maidan. AHAR is one of the most awaited business-to-business events in Asia. The 5-day-long event will not only feature new food and beverage trends, but also hospitality services, processing, culinary technology, retail and new innovations. Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta Das yesterday questioned public sector banks on why credit growth is not taking off despite specific action taken by the central bank. Further, heads of these banks were also asked why growth at PSBs is slower as compared to their private peers. Data released by the RBI last week showed that outstanding non-food credit from banks slid to 6.3% year-on-year during the fortnight ended February 14th. In a closed-door meeting with the bankers, the RBI also discussed a few other issues such as the resolution of stressed assets and long-term repo operations. Last week, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also exhorted PSBs to go back to branch banking and push the credit flow to small and medium enterprises in a purported bid to revive economic growth. Government has permitted airlines operating in India to provide in-flight Wi-Fi services to passengers. An official notification stated that the pilot in command may permit the access of internet services by passengers on board an aircraft in flight through Wi-Fi on board. When laptop, smartphone, tablet, smartwatch, e-reader or a point-of-sale device is used in flight mode or airplane mode. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has a narrow lead over his rival Benny Gantz after Israel's third general election in a year. According to exit polls, Netanyahu's right-wing Likud party is expected to win 36 to 37 seats, while Gantz's centrist Blue and White alliance are likely to win 32 to 33. Netanyahu said the result was a great victory for Israel. Neither of the two main party leaders was able to command a majority in the 120-seat parliament following the last two elections. A win for Netanyahu after inconclusive ballots in April and September would be testimony to the political durability of Israel's longest-serving leader, who fought the latest campaign under the shadow of a looming corruption trial. The first trial of a sitting prime minister in Israel is due to begin on March 17th. Netanyahu denies any wrongdoing. The results are also expected to pave the way for Netanyahu to make good on the pledge to annex, after the election, Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank and the region's Jordan Valley, under a peace plan presented by US President Donald Trump. More updates on the eve of Super Tuesday. Americans eager to know which Democrat will face President Donald Trump in November's election may have a clearer view after Super Tuesday, sure to be a defining moment in the race. Super Tuesday is the single day when most states hold contest elections to pick a Democratic presidential nominee Most voters have a chance to go to polls, and most delegates will be allotted to the candidates. More than a third of all delegates of Democratic National Convention are up for grabs on this day. It also provides opportunity for candidates to demonstrate their ability or weakness to draw from a broad swathe of voters from different backgrounds and across different regions. 4 of the country's 50 states, Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Nevada have already voted. But today is the biggest day of the entire presidential primary process, with tens of millions of Americans eligible to cast their ballot. It could be a turning point when frontrunner Bernie Sanders secures an insurmountable lead or former Vice President Joe Biden secures a dramatic comeback. Success on Super Tuesday requires a tremendous ground game, top-notch fundraising, and serious momentum. The Taliban said on Monday they were resuming offensive operations against Afghan security forces, ending the partial truce that preceded the signing of a deal between insurgents and Washington. The declaration comes only a day after President Ashraf Ghani said he would continue the partial truce at least until talks between Afghan officials and the Taliban kick off, supposedly on March 10th. It ran for 1 week ahead of the signing of the historic accord in Doha on Saturday and continued over the weekend. Under the terms of the deal, foreign forces will quit Afghanistan within 14 months, subject to Taliban security guarantees and a pledge by the insurgents to hold talks with the Kabul government. 13 people have been confirmed dead and another 28 are thought to be missing after a riverboat sank in the northern Brazilian state of Amapá. Local news website G1 reported the vessel was making a roughly 36-hour journey between the cities of Santana in Amapá state and Santarém in neighboring Pará. River transportation is common in the Amazon, where overland travel is often impossible. The Brazilian Navy is investigating the incident. In Nigeria, at least 50 people were killed in attacks by armed gangs on villages in northern Kaduna state on Sunday. Kaduna's governor said the gunmen are suspected to have come from the neighbor states of Katsina, Zamfara and Niger Republic, adding that troops had been sent to the area. Houses and vehicles were set ablaze by the gunmen in the Kaduna state attack. Hundreds of people have been killed in the northwest of Nigeria since last year in attacks the government attributes to bandits, a loose term for gangs of outlaws carrying out robberies and kidnappings. Brazil's former president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, received the status of Citizen of Honor yesterday for his commitment to the fight against economic and social inequalities. In a ceremony at the City Hall of Paris, the mayor of Paris, the socialist Anne Hidalgo, awarded the recognition to the founder of the Brazilian Workers' Party, who served 580 days in political prison in a judicial maneuver to neutralize the possibility of his return to power. President from 2003 to 2010, Lula was imprisoned in 2018 after being found guilty of receiving bribes from construction companies in return of public contracts. Lula has maintained his innocence and was freed in November 2019 after Brazil's Supreme Court issued a broader ruling ending the mandatory imprisonment of convicted criminals after they lose their first appeal. World Wildlife Day is being celebrated across the globe today. The aim of World Wildlife Day is to acknowledge the importance of wildlife species in maintaining the ecological balance on Earth. It also aims to create awareness among humans about the importance of wildlife and tries to curb the various dangers directed towards the flora and fauna. The theme of World Wildlife Day 2020, Sustaining All Life on Earth, encompasses all wild animal and plant species as a component of biodiversity as well as the livelihoods of people, especially those who live closest to nature. The year 2020, known as Biodiversity Super Year, will host several major global events that place biodiversity at the forefront. It provides a unique opportunity to deliver transformative progress for the conservation and sustainable use of the species of wild animals and plants. New Zealand completed a memorable series sweep in the second test in Christchurch on Monday. New Zealand scored 132, losing 3 wickets to notch a 7-wicket win to pocket the 2-match series. The hosts completed the job with openers Tom Latham 52 and Tom Blundell 55 doing the bulk of the scoring. Kyle Jamieson was declared man of the match. Jasprit Bumrah picked up 2 wickets, one after the Kiwi openers had put on a solid 103-run stand. Earlier, India were all out for 124 in their second innings. Resuming the third day at 90 for 6, India lost overnight batsmen Hanuma Vihari and Rishabh Pant early, and the tail also could not survive for long. For the host, lead pacer Trent Boult finished with impressive figures of 4 for 28, and his new ball partner Tim Southee was equally good, taking 3 wickets for 36 runs at the Hagley Oval. The 29th edition of the prestigious Azlan Shah Cup hockey tournament was on Monday pushed from April to September in the wake of novel coronavirus outbreak across the world. The Azlan Shah Cup, which was scheduled to be held at Ipoh in Malaysia from April 11 to 18, will now be held from September 24 to October 3rd. This is the latest sporting event to be affected by the deadly coronavirus, which has claimed more than 3,000 lives and infected 88,000 people. Women's World Rapid Chess Champion and Indian chess grandmaster Koneru Hampi jumped up to the second spot, leaving behind World Women's Chess Champion Zhu Wenjun in global chess body FIDE's March month's overall ranking. Hampi won the prestigious Cairns Cup last month. Meanwhile, Indian female chess players are keeping the nation's flag flying high, with Grandmaster Harika Dronavalli maintaining her 9th rank, and in the girls section, R. Vaishali moving up to the 9th place from 10th rank in February. The Indian men's hockey team has achieved all-time high spot in the FIH hockey rankings. The men in blue have climbed a rung to the 4th position, their highest since the inception of the FIH World Rankings in 2003 in the recently released charts. India's excellent form in the first 3 rounds of the 2nd edition of FIH Hockey Pro League has seen them move from 5th to 4th. India's rise comes at the expense of Olympic champions Argentina, who dropped to 5th place. World champions Belgium, who in January defeated Australia in Sydney to wrestle top spot from their opponents, remain in pole position, with Australia and the Netherlands also holding their positions in the top 3. That's all in this edition of News for the Hearing Impaired. Namaskar.